Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I just wanted to check in with you about a couple of things. So, I got a question about the materials and methods section, and it's a good time to talk about the poster. Um, so we have a poster template on here. Now is about this week and next week. You want to make sure that you start writing. So you're going to need background information. So you're going to write um, probably one long or 2 to 3 paragraphs of information. I would recommend typing it out in Word, and then copy and paste it into your background. You'll also put your school logo. If you're at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, you don't have to worry about it. I'm not sure if University of Rochester or University of Minnesota Rochester has its own logo, in which case then you'd put that here. If you're at Century College, Minneapolis College, St. Paul College, um, you're going to put your logo here. Title, we can worry more about that later. Okay, don't worry about it. I need to move this bar. Let's see. I need to zoom a little bit. 75%. Okay. So don't worry about the title. The first person on the poster for the authors is going to be you. The first person, when you read different articles, journal articles, whatever you're looking at, that first person is the one who does the majority of the work and writes the research, okay, and writes the paper, writes the poster. So they're doing the majority of the work. So you're going to put your name, and then the primary investigator is typically the person who leads you or guides you within your research, or has kind of the funding source for the research. So depending on what you're looking at, but the person who's kind of overall kind of directing and looking at it. Typically in this case, you would put me. So I'm just going to make this easy for you. If they have a degree or a title, right? I have a doctorate, so I'm going to put PhD. The department for you guys, it'll be whatever your major is. So if you're a computer science student, you're going to put computer science. I see that institution and city. There's a lot of typos in here. So if you are in computer science, you put computer science. What college you are, I'm in biology, so I would put biology. I put institution. I teach at Century College. Okay. That is in White Bear Lake. And then you put the zip code. All right. So at this point, then, you just have to put your name. For you guys, just to make sure that everybody has access to a template and nobody messes with your particular poster, I would download a copy or make a copy and put it into your reflection folder. That way you can make edits and nobody else is going to touch it. All right. Now, for the poster, let's go back. I'm going to go back to fit. There you go. All right. At this point, you should have several figures. So you should have 4 to 5 figures or tables that you want to use. You should be starting to write that background information, and you should be starting to write your conclusion information. Now, I had a question about what to put for language for the materials and methods. And before I get to that, write the background information as you want it, write the conclusion as you want it. These boxes, okay, for the poster are templates, right? We can adjust that. So if your background is shorter, but your figure 1 tends to be, a lot larger, we can enhance it. So some of that is going to be playing around. Okay. You may have to add more sentences, depending on what it is, but I don't want you to stress length over content. Okay. So be more focused on what you want to say in that content. You're trying to tell a story, right? You're giving the background information of why this is important, why you were looking into it, why this is relevant. And then we get to the materials and methods. So the question was about how to write it and the language to use. So I have uploaded a example language for materials and methods section. Slowly. There we go. You may not need all of these sections. You will probably only need this part. So the materials and message is doing literature searches. So you're all doing this. You're looking through different databases and you're collecting articles and you're collecting data and trying to analyze that data. For literature searches, you can, directly take it from this. You can copy and paste and then just add and change where you need to. Information collected and experiments reviewed in this study were obtained from published studies using the NCBI database and clinical trials. If you didn't use any clinical trials, even though that's found in the NCBI database, you can eliminate that. If you use Google Scholar Site or if you use any other databases, right? You want to make sure that you add that in here. So this is someplace you might have to edit. Okay. This is PubMed. Okay. The NCBI database is PubMed. So if you're only using PubMed, okay, that's just fine. The study focused on articles. Okay. Here we are going to put the study focused on articles related to, and then you say whatever your research question. So whether that be Lyme disease, colon cancer, or the growing increase in Lyme disease or colon cancer, or disparities in mental health access to communities, whatever that is, right? You're going to put that into theirs. So made like a kind of a broad scope. When we first started, what were you first starting to look at? Then you're going to add the search parameters, which included, but we're not limited to, and then that might be, here's where you're going to add your search terms. Okay. That might be in the case of Lyme disease, might be Lyme disease prevalence, young people, or whatever you're looking at. Same thing with, depending on if it's colon cancer, what you were looking at, health disparities, the terms that you use to find those articles, right? One might be, if you were looking at the increase of a particular disease and it was related to smoking, you might put smoking in there as part of one of your search terms. If you use the search term, you should put it in there. You want to make sure that anybody that would do similar work or wants to check on your work would be able to find the articles that you found. All right. The articles published up to, and what I would do is go ahead and put April of 2024. Or you can put April, whatever date that is. Now what this does is that it tells the people that are looking at your project at what date did you complete the project? So essentially, if say a study was going to be published a year from now and totally discredited everything that you did or worked on or proved that you were wrong, right? This allows for the audience to know that you didn't have that information when you did this work. So if you were ever to show this example to somebody else and that kind of stuff, and they knew about this other article that disproved everything, if it wasn't, it was published after you've done the work, that's relevant information. All right. All right. Data collection. I don't think a lot of you, this pertains to a lot of you, this group. Um, if you were going to take numbers, so in the case of Lyme's disease, if you were looking at the CDC website for the incidence and prevalence of Lyme disease and you're getting raw numbers, and you put that into a graph or a table, you want to make sure that people know where you got those numbers. So data set for Lyme's disease, date range examined. Are you looking for the whole year? Are you just looking for the spring months in the past 5 years? Whatever it is, make sure that you are upfront about that. It's taken from which data source? Did you take it from the Minnesota Department of Health, the CDC, the World Health Organization, climate areas or sites, whatever it is? The variables of the study were, are you pulling out any different types of location? Are you only focused on one state? Are you only focused on the US? Are you focused on the world population? Are you focused on different subsets of populations? So older populations, younger populations, male, female, whatever you got. All right. If you were doing data analysis, and I don't think any of you guys are doing any coding or statistical analysis, that would usually, at that point you'd have to have this data too. If you did any of that, you want to make sure that you put your variables and how you measured correlation coefficients and how things were kind of entered into the system so that somebody could repeat that information. All right, so that gives example language. That takes us back to our poster. All right. You're going to put 4 to 5 figures, okay? And each of those figures, and now I'm going to zoom back in. All right. Each of those figures will have like a title, okay? And this might, you can adjust that. Then you'll have the figure itself, so you have space for that. And then you're going to have the description of the figure. Most of the time, you guys are going to take that from where you took the figure. You may change it a little bit. So say you're only taking part of a figure, whatever it is, you can say adapted from, and just make sure that you cite your sources. So the person who did the work gets the credit. Right. You're going to write a conclusion. And then your references are going to go into here. So hopefully as you've been collecting messy notes and things like that, you've been collecting the citations for that. You're going to put all the references in this. The acknowledgements are already put in there. Your funding is paid for by the Louis Stokes North Star STEM Alliance. We should also probably put the funding for PRISM. So I am going to just grab that information. Try to figure the document. Sorry, I got a lot going on here. There we go. This is a different thing I'm writing. All right. So I'm going to switch that so that it has both PRISM funding and North Star STEM Alliance. All right. Back to that poster. All right, so I paste without because I wanted to keep the font correct or the same. All right. Now it seems like my little white box is not big enough, so we'd have to change that. And we could do that by making this a little bit smaller and this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. Let's go back to fit. Try to think of what other tips I can give you guys for working on this. If you struggle with any of this, please let me know. Um, you don't necessarily have to be putting stuff into your poster right now, but you may want to start writing your background and your conclusion. All right. Um, hopefully we have journal club tomorrow, which is Tuesday, with Ashley. Hope she's ready for that. Please check in with me one-on-one, either set an appointment for later today or tomorrow if you're not able to attend the 10 o'clock session. All right. Hope you guys have a good day.